Hi guys, hello, how are you? So this video is going to talk about getting rid of slugs from your containers. This container has my dahlias and it's been infested with slugs, so I want to get it all out. So the first thing I'm doing to get rid of these slugs and their eggs is to carefully remove the tuber. Now this is just at the beginning of spring when the tubers are just about to start. Winter is over now, so carefully remove the tuber, making sure probably there'll be roots, so be gentle and just carefully tease them out. You probably would find loads of slugs and eggs anyway, but there you go. This is a humongous tuber I have, but this is how it is at the moment. You can see the roots, so just kind of remove the soil, pick it up gently, remove the soil. And then there's a slug right there. That's one slug. Ugh, you could imagine how many there are. Now the next thing to do is to wash it. So I have put it in a bucket of water. I'm just gonna swish it about. And when you're washing it, try to get out as much of the dirt as possible so you can see if there is any slugs nested in between the tubers. So I just use a watering can and just pour water over it. You can see all the soil coming out anyway. Don't forget to keep your labels because you want to know what tubers you have. So this is a viable tuber. I'm just washing it, shaking about, making sure you loosen every odd bit. Check the bottom to see if there's any slug nested in there. You just want your tubers to be clean. Make sure there is no eggs. So give it a good wash around. It's not going to harm the roots or anything. They're fine. As you can see, this is very early spring, so it's not yet fully rooted as such. Give it a good shake and just pop it aside. Again, make sure you have your labels on. So this is another one. As you can see, this one has already started its spring growth. So just be gentle. It's fine. It's not going to harm the dahlia. Just wash it. Get rid of all them slugs and things. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I just have a saline solution. It's just a little bit of ordinary table salt and water, not a lot. Maybe this amount of water with a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to quickly dip the dahlias in. The reason I'm doing this is if there's any slug locked in somewhere that I can't see, the salt water is going to get to that slug and it's going to expire the slug. So you see, I'm not soaking the dahlia like leaving it to sit in there for an hour or so. I'm literally just giving it a quick rinse. And these are other dahlias I've done. I've cut some of the tubers off because I don't need them. They were just too big, so you can trim off your dahlias in pots. So there they are. They're all washed, dipped in nice saline solution, salt and water, just to get rid of any excess slug. All my labels are there. The next thing I'm going to do is to take off all the soil from my pot, and then I'm going to put it into this big container. I am going to make sure I get rid of all those slugs. Once you've transferred all your soil in, make sure you wash this container, and I'm washing it with boiling water, so any eggs, anything that's left behind is definitely going to be clean. So it kind of sterilizes the pot. And then I'm going to pour boiling water on the rest of the soil. So I normally boil the kettle 2 or 3 times and just fill it up. So make sure your soil is well soaked with water, not just a little water, but I mean every bit of the soil has to be thoroughly soaked. This would kill any eggs, anything in your soil, that shouldn't be there. And I just get a garden tool and I just move the soil around just to make sure the whole soil has been dipped in boiling water. And then I start to take it out. I just have very thick gloves. The water would have cooled down a bit anyway. And I just squeeze those water out and I put it back in my sterilized container. I take them all out, squeeze it. So now you've got clean soil, no slug eggs, nothing in your container. And then I just strain the rest of it also. I don't waste any of my compost. Of course, you can only do this with small containers. If you have a container you think you can handle, that's fine. You can just do this with. And then you make sure you don't waste any compost. This is how I do mine. I strain it so nothing is wasted. I squeeze out all the water And then I simply just pop it back in the pot. So there we go. So my pot is now full of its original compost. All nice, very clean, not a single slug inside, not a single slug egg, nothing, clean. The next thing I do is I mix a solution. This is hydrogen peroxide. They sell it at 3%. You can get it at a larger percent, but I just dilute it down to like maybe 1.5 to 2%, just because it's so expensive and you want a whole lot more anyway. So once I've mixed it, I just pour it into my container now. And then the reason I do this is just for any odd bacteria and stuff, that it just kind of sterilizes my compost nicely. And anything that might have been left behind definitely is finished. And it's good for the soil anyway. You know, like when rain comes and you see your plants just suddenly shoot up, it's the hydrogen peroxide in the rain. But this is just to add a bit of sterilization and just to get my soil nice. And you can see once I start turning it over, I'm turning it over so to make sure every part of my soil gets it. It feels quite frothy. It's quite frothy. So you can even do a 1% solution, but maybe do 1.5, you know, at least. But up to 3% is fine anyway. 3% is the strongest and will definitely kill any bacteria or pathogen inside there. But I just use, maybe, like I say, it's expensive, so I dilute it down a bit more. Now just make sure every part of that soil gets some of those peroxides. You'll find that it's quite aerated. It makes your soil aerated, which is good. And then once you've done that, this is just me making sure every part of it gets those peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. You can see how frothy it is now. It's really nice and aerated. So I've got nice sterilized soil. Everything is great. Putting back some of the air back into the soil, which is good. And again, this is just for containers. You know, you can't do this in the ground really. You can pour hydrogen peroxide on the ground, but it's not going to help, is it? Because the slugs will just come back. And then the next thing I do is I just rinse these dahlias with just water to remove any extra salt that may be left behind. And once I've rinsed it out, I just plant it back in. No, I just add food to my soil because it's been washed. So I add slow release, fish and bone, fertilize the soil, just make it rich again and replenish it because you've washed it. Once you've replenished it, then you can start planting those dahlias. So just dig a hole, make a nice hole, and then start popping on your dahlia tubers in and just plant them as normal, and then they'll be fine. So once you've done this, you'll be wondering, well, what's to stop slugs coming in again? Well, there's another video I'm doing which I show you how I prevent them coming back into my pots, where I put a plate underneath with a salt solution. But check the rest of the videos. It will come after this one, and that will show you how to stop them climbing back into your pot. But first, you've got to get rid of them after the winter and all that stuff, to prevent them from coming back, and at least give your dahlias a chance to grow big. You know, so even if they get back in later, at least they would have grown properly.